friends, welcome to my channel Tech Savvy. Today we are going to learn about NRPE agent installation on Linux machine. So this is our EC2 dashboard where I have created one more EC2 machine which name is client node, where we will configure NRPE agent. And in our previous video we have created Nagios server and we have configured all the Nagios server related configuration into this machine, and as you can see it is working fine. Here you can see all the services are up and running. I have also logged in into this server, so you can see all the related things are working fine. Now we will configure this client node, or we can say we will install NRPE agent into this client node machine. I have already logged in into this machine here, and these are the steps which we are going to perform to configure NRPE agent. Don't worry, you will find all these steps on my blog page. Link of my blog page I will paste into the description blog. This is my blog page where I have written NRPE agent configuration steps. All the steps which we are going to use in this tutorial or in this video you will find here, and I will paste this link into my description blog. So let's start the configuration. So as per the steps, we need to install some prerequisite software into our machine. So I will just copy this command and paste it into client node machine. It is saying I need to be a root permission, so let's switch user sudo su, and then again I will paste the same command. So everything is installing. So all the prerequisite and dependencies has been installed in this machine. Let's move to next step. Next step, we need to change the directory where we can download our Nagios package. Next is wget, and where we will download this NRPE tar package. ls, as you can see we have downloaded our NRPE tar package. Now next step is we need to untar it, and for untar we just need to type tar xzf and package name. As you can see it is untarred. Now go to the directory, so cd nrp package ls. You can see all the NRPE agent configuration files or installation files, dependencies are present here. Next step is we need to configure. Okay, so our package is configured. As you can see it is saying for compilation we need to run make all command. So we just type make all, which will help us to compile the binaries. Now next step is we have configured our NRPE agent, we have compiled all the binaries. Now next step is we need to install it. So we have group added and user Nagios. Okay, so in this only we will install our NRPE agent package. So this is installation. Next is install config. Okay, so all the related configuration and installation is being done. Now next step is we need to create a service. So for on this path, etc service path, we will create one part, that is, or we can say we will enable an NRPE agent port on this part. So for that we just run echo etc service, and then we will write comment that which comment is that. So for comment we will mention Nagios service we are creating. and under this service we are giving NRPE port enable. If you would like to see what we have done, so we can go to cd etc. Okay, I'm sorry, cd/etc. Okay, do ls. You will see one service file is present here. Where is that? Here. So we will just do cat services, and all the services will be listed down here, and this is the service we have just added here. So next is install init, means we need to initialize this service. So for that also we need to go to our path cd tmp okay. Now do initialization. Okay, initialization of service is done. Now we need to enable NRP service. Service is enabled. Next is we need to configure this IP address of Nagios client into. Now next step is we need to give host IP address, or we can say Nagios server IP address into this client, so that it can fetch the matrix. So we will go to the NRP config file which is present into this path usr local nagios etc nrp.cfg. So under this file we need to edit the code. Which code? We need to find allotted host names. So where is that? Here we can see right now it is only allotting or focusing on localhost. So we will change it with Nagios server IP address. So we will take this Nagios server IP address from here, copy, and we will just type here, and then press comma and put this IP address, escape :wq, enter. And now next step is we need to start NRP service. Okay, service is started. Let's check status also once, whether it is started properly or not. Okay, as you can see, service is properly up and running. Now next step is let's check the host status also. Okay, as you can see, NRP version 3.2.1 is installed. Now we have configured NRP agent and we have installed everything related with NRP into the client node machine. But how Nagios server will come to know which client it has to monitor and how the logs will become to Nagios server? So we need to go to Nagios server and we need to give this client node IP address into Nagios server's configuration file, so that the connection can be completed. So we will just go to the Nagios server path, or we can say we will go to Nagios configuration file here. Under this file we will give this line. Which line? We need to configure client config file. So the client config file which is present in this path. So here under this configurations we will give one more config file to target this client config file, escape :wq. Then next step is under the object folder we need to create one client config file which we have just mentioned to nagios.config, which will target this client config file. Under this client config file all the client node detail is present. So with that we need to create it. So we will go to this path. Under this path you can see there are lots of configuration file is present. We need to create one client config file. So for that we just copy localhost with name of client config. So we will create one file similar like localhost, and now next we will go, or we can first we will give the permission. You can see right now this client config file is having root permission, but we need to change the permission to Nagios user. So for that, sudo chown or directly run chown Nagios client config, enter. So as you can see, permission has been changed here. Now next step is we need to edit this client config file with our detail, or we can say we need to mention our client node IP address and detail into this. The next step is we need to add client node IP address, and we need to replace whole host name from localhost to client name. I know this is a bit confusing, but when we will do the demo, you will understand what I am trying to say. And third step is we need to delete or comment out the host group. So start from starting. First step is we need to define the host. Definitely we are not defining host here, we are defining client node here. So we will change the name from localhost to client node. Next, alias also, right now I am keeping the same client node, and IP address of the client node is this. Okay, first step. Second step, we need to comment out or delete this host group name. Now next step is all these services, you can see we need to, right now these services are mapped to localhost. Now we need to change it with our client node. So our client node name is client node. So we just copy this client node from here, and I'm sorry, one second. And we need to paste everywhere where host name is mapped to localhost. We need to change it with client node. Type client node. Next. So that all the services related with client node will be fetched. As you can see, all the localhost has been replaced with client node. Okay, so just escape :WQ, enter. Okay, now all the setup has been done. After doing all the setup, just restart once the Nagios service and go to this Nagios server page and restart or refresh the browser. Go to service. As you can see, our client node is reflecting. Right now it is in a pending state, but soon everything will be loaded once it will start sending metrics or sending connections to Nagios server. You can see under host also it will reflect client node and service group, or you can see in the summary part also everything will be reflecting. See, it is starting fetching all the detail. Load is average, so it is taking as a okay and everything. So that's it about Nagios server and Nagios client node configuration, or we can say about NRPE agent configuration. In the next video, we will see how to configure alerts. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel.